Hello, I'm Chef Cisco. I am the owner and executive chef of Cisco Smokehouse, a place where Latin cuisine meets smokehouse barbecue. Welcome to my channel. If you haven't done so yet, be sure to subscribe, especially if you're a foodie. This channel is designed for the foodie in you. So I'm going to have some tips about cooking. We'll do a few cooking demonstrations. And today is something very special because this day and age, food is getting so expensive. How do you feed your family when it's getting so expensive? So I'm going to show you a few ways that you can save a ton of money and make a really good meal for hardly any money at all. Today's meal, actually, I'm going to be making a meal for 2 people, and it's going to be white rice with pork chops and broccoli. Now, might be hard to believe, but listen carefully. This meal is going to cost $1 per person. You heard. $1 per person. So listen, I went out and I found some pork tenderloin chops, and they were at $1.68 a pound. These are 5 ounces a piece. That's 10 ounces of pork chop. So literally, there's $1 of pork chop sitting right here. And also bought some fresh broccoli. Now the broccoli was $1.70 for the whole broccoli, which this is only a third of it. So this is about 60 cents worth of broccoli right here. It's going to feed 2 people. And then I have some white rice, which is very inexpensive. I found it at $2.50 for a 4-pound bag for this extra long grain white rice. So right here I have a cup of white rice, which is going to facilitate my 2 people today, and that's a ½ pound of rice, so literally about 30 cents of rice. The only thing we're going to do in addition to that are going to be your basic staples that you probably already have in your refrigerator. So we'll use some onion, we'll use some garlic, obviously we'll use some seasoning, and I will use a little bit of tomato sauce. So if you don't have any, I guess you can add that extra little 40 cents for a small can of tomato sauce. I won't even use the whole can, I'll just use a part of it, okay? And just for fun, I have some leeks sitting around, so I'm gonna throw some leeks in there. But again, it's inexpensive. I mean, sure, you can doctor it up and add more ingredients, but the point is, you can feed 2 people for $2. You can't do that anywhere else outside of your own home. So stay tuned, make sure you subscribe, and I hope you enjoy today. All right, so first things first, we're gonna go ahead and take our rice and get it rinsed. Now, if you're not familiar with using rice, it's pretty simple. I have, like I said, a cup of rice, so that's a ½ pound of rice, and just some cool water. All you need to do is rinse it literally with water in a bowl. Obviously, easier. Shake it around. What you're trying to do is you're trying to get the cloudiness, it's dusty, out of this rice. So that's the point of that. And if you have a small strainer nearby, that would be the easiest way to not lose a bunch of rice down the sink. So I'll do that. And I tend to do this 2 times, and that's good enough for your rice. Takes care of that. Now, as far as the pork chops go, it's going to be really simple. I'm just going to season it with Cisco's Pernil rub. Now, I know you may not have this, so please don't give me a hard time. But if you follow, if you subscribe, if you follow our Instagram and our Facebook page, when it is available, you'll know. It's going to be available hopefully nationwide in the next year or so. So right now we're doing a bunch of test markets locally. And once that's done, hopefully we'll release it to everyone else. But the Pernil rub is simple ingredients. Let's see, the ingredients are salt, granulated garlic, black pepper, oregano, and a little bit of cumin. Don't ask me how much. I sell it, so I'm not going to give you the exact recipe. But, for your purposes, you can season your pork chop however you like to season pork chops. If you like salt, pepper, oregano, that's a good way to go. If you, have some kind of a pork chop seasoning, you can do that. It's sort of up to you. Mine, I'm going to season it with this so it has that kind of like that Puerto Rican pernil flavor, which is what I'm after today. I want some Latin flavor, and so that's what we're putting on here. So I'm going to season both sides of these chops. You season yours at home. And as far as the broccoli, we're going to keep it simple. It's just going to be basically salt and pepper, I believe. We'll go with that. So that's it. My chops are seasoned. We are ready to go now. Okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and fire up for the rice because the rice is going to take us roughly 30 minutes. The whole meal, folks, is going to take about 30 minutes. So here's the secret to rice, if you didn't know. For 1 cup of rice, long grain, you want 2 cups of water. That's already in here. All right. 1 teaspoon of salt. So these are for all those who want to know the actual ingredients. I'll give it to you for rice, all right? It's like rocket science for real. 1 teaspoon of salt. I use pink Himalayan salt. You can use whatever salt you want. And 1 tablespoon of oil, your oil of choice. I would suggest not using olive oil, but you can use vegetable oil. Me personally, I have coconut oil. I prefer coconut oil. It has a nice taste to it as well. So 2 cups of water, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of coconut oil, 1 cup of rice. I'm gonna fire up this rice now, get it started so the water can start boiling. At the same time, I'm gonna go ahead and fire up this front burner because I wanna put a sear on those pork chops. All right, gang, the water back here is getting warm. I'm gonna go ahead and drop my rice in, even though it's not boiling yet, because it is long grain rice, which takes a little longer to cook. So I'm gonna drop that in while we're waiting for this water to boil. Now, for the Puerto Ricans out there, I have to give this public service announcement. I know you're going to say that I'm doing it wrong because I don't have a caldero. So listen, part of the point of this particular video was for the people who don't have everything they need to have to be able to still make a good meal. So although you're right, I should have a caldero, I don't, and that's okay. You can use this non-stick pot, it's okay. Tablespoon of oil there. Slide that around the oil. Just want a soft sear. All right, while that's happening, I'm gonna get these vegetables ready that we're gonna stick in there with this pork chop. So I got, it's like three little teeth of garlic. I mean, we call them dientes in Espanol, in Spanish. That's why I keep saying teeth, but I know that's not what it is, all right? It's garlic cloves in English. My bad. All right, so I got 3 of these. I'm gonna have a little bit of onion, and like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and throw these leeks in there as well. So let's get this prepared. Cut off the edges. I'm gonna chop these up and basically actually mince them down. The onions, we will do them a little bit larger actually. The onions and the leeks, we're gonna let those stay larger so that we can see them after it's all cooked still. All right, garlic is there. Leeks. I want them long, because again, I want to see them afterwards, so we're going to cut them this way. For the leeks, and we'll do the same thing with the onions. We'll cut them long. Plenty of onion. A little bit more. I don't know how many. I don't know how much. It's just the amount that seems right. So we'll do that. All right, kids. Now, the rice is starting to boil. The chops are starting to sear. The vegetables here are done. The only thing left for us to really prepare is going to be the broccoli. So while we're waiting for that sear, we'll go ahead and get the broccoli ready, and then you're going to see how easy this meal goes right after this, because there's going to be nothing else to prepare. It'll just be a matter of actually cooking it all. So I'm going to go ahead and break down this broccoli. Nice large chunks. All right. Looking good. I hope you guys are enjoying so far. You see my rice is back there boiling, so now I'm going to go ahead and just lower it down to about a medium because I don't want to burn the rice, but I do want to boil off the water. And I know your angle is not the best, so please forgive me. Hopefully you can still see what's happening back there. Time to flip this. Okay, just a soft sear. You can see that. There you go, that's all you want. We'll flip that one, do the same thing. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and lower down the heat for the pork chops. Our sear is done. We're just gonna go ahead and take that off. These chops are definitely not cooked, okay? But I don't want them to get overcooked, so I'm gonna take them off now so we can start preparing the veggies that are gonna go into this, okay? All right, so take that oil from this guy. It's about a tablespoon still. And now we're gonna cook up these veggies. We got the garlic, we got the leeks, we got the onions. And we're going to go ahead and get that sauteed up right now as a base while that rice is over there boiling down still. All right. Boiling a little bit. So watch your boil on the rice. I hope you can see those bubbles back there. So if it's boiling too profusely, you want to lower that thing down. You do want it to boil the water out, but you don't want to do it and burn the rice at the bottom at the same time. So I'm lowering it down. I want it to boil out, but I want it to boil out a little bit less vigorously. All right. So we're going to get these veggies sauteed up. I'm going to add a little bit of that seasoning that we were using, that Pernil seasoning, because this is for the pork chops anyway. All right. So these vegetables are looking really nice. I'm turning the fire up a little bit more. Now I went ahead and cut one russet potato, about 1/4 inch thick, and I'm going to add this to this. It's going to be like a tomatoey sauce with the pork chops. It's going to be. In Spanish, it'll be more like a guisado or guisado, but it means stewed. So I don't know, Puerto Ricans are crazy like that. We like starch with our starch. So rice and potatoes, we're gonna just go with it. We'll toss those in there, and we're gonna start to cook this down. And what I'm gonna do is, I want to add the tomato sauce and some seasonings, and I'm gonna let this start stewing up. So here's the tomato sauce. Now what we have here, it's not even a whole can, it's like 3/4 of a can, but I'm only gonna put half of it. So for you at home, if you're using a can of tomato sauce, if it's a small can, it's probably about half of that. If it's a big can, it's 1/4. But we're gonna put that, and we're gonna add some water as well. We're gonna go ahead and let that stew. I'm mixing up that tomato sauce with the water. Got the potatoes in here. I'm gonna turn my flame up now because I want to soften those potatoes. And this is gonna be a crucial time to add some salt. So if you're just using regular salt, go ahead and do that. I'm gonna stay true with the seasonings that I'm using. It's already a mix for me. So I'm gonna add some more of that Pernil seasoning to ensure that it doesn't taste like tomato and water. So we'll stir this up. I'm gonna put a lid on it, and we're gonna let it simmer while we're waiting for that rice to completely evaporate. Let's listen carefully. Do you hear that sizzle? So that's the rice. And how you know when it's time to do something is when you no longer hear that sizzle. Just keep an eye on the heat. You know, if it sounds too aggressive, that's the best I can explain right now. I'm gonna lower it all the way down. I don't see any water, but I still hear it bubbling out. So I'm gonna lower it all the way down until I don't hear any more water. And then it'll be time to put a lid on that. And as you see, this is now boiling as well. And so I'm gonna lower it down, and I'm gonna put a lid on this, and I'm just gonna let it simmer. I'm sort of trying to time this with that rice over there. So these potatoes have been simmering for about 10 minutes. I almost don't hear the rice anymore. So now I'm gonna go ahead and check on these guys. Let's see what's going on. Let's see. Make sure you taste your food, guys. I mean, how much seasoning? As much as it takes. So you know it tastes right. So that's gonna need a little bit more seasoning, speaking of, but that's okay. I wanna know, are my potatoes getting soft yet? Because I took those pork chops off at about 110 degrees, and they only need to cook to about 165. So I don't want them in here cooking too long to get overcooked and then get tough on me. So we need the potatoes to get soft enough, and then we'll reintroduce the pork chops. And all of that is going to happen in the same 20 minutes that this rice is going to take to complete. And we'll add the broccoli in the last 5 or 7 minutes, and we're going to have a meal that's complete at the same time, on point. And that's what we want, folks. Okay, our rice has gotten really quiet back here, so it's time to go ahead and give it a stir. So I'm going to poke at it really first and try to get all the way to the bottom and just turn it, flip it. All the way at the bottom and flip it. You don't want to do a lot of stirring with rice because then it gets too mushy. All the way at the bottom and flip it, and then I'm just going to fluff it out, especially in the non-stick pan. So that's that. Rice is ready to be cooked now. It's going to take about another 20 minutes to complete, and then we'll be done. 15 actually, I think. So let's see. I'm going to turn it up just a smidgen. Now we're going to lower this back down and get this, check on these potatoes. Now if your pot, for whatever reason, starts losing too much water too fast in these potatoes, it's okay if you have to add a little bit more water, but you may want to go ahead and add a little bit more tomato sauce as well so it doesn't, lose its color. It's kind of up to you, but then, of course, with that, you have to add seasoning. So these are the things you have to monitor depending on your stove because they're not all the same. Potatoes, oh yeah, see? Now that went through very easily. Put your lid on the rice. That's going to be done in 15 minutes. Lower this down all the way to the lowest. And now I'm going to reintroduce the pork chops. And for those same 15 minutes, super low. Look at that. They're just going to sit in this warm juices, and they're going to introduce themselves and their seasoning to those juices. Oh yeah. And you know what? The only thing that I could do now to make that any better is to add some olives. So I will. I know, it wasn't part of the original plan, folks. Sometimes the plan changes. I mean, I start cooking and I go, ooh, olives seems like a good idea now. And that's what we're doing. We're putting olives. So, put a few olives in here because olives are just great with rice. I don't know why. They just are. Especially yellow rice. Now, it's not going to be yellow rice, but the tomato sauce is going to make sure that it all seems the same. So there's some olives in there. If you're an olive lover, or at least you can enjoy olives, go for it. Go for it. Make sure the meat stays submerged, the olives are submerged, so all these flavors now are going to give themselves a great introduction to each other over the next 12 minutes or so. So it's been about 5 minutes. Dinner should be ready in about another 7. It's time to start the broccoli. We'll fire this thing up on high, get that thing nice and hot. And yo, we're talking simple. This thing's gonna be super simple. It's broccoli. It's gonna have salt. It's gonna have pepper. That's it. Be sure to make sure you've tasted your sauce. Does it have enough salt? If not, just add some salt. Okay? No excuse to have bland food. All right. We're gonna get this broccoli going right now. We're gonna go ahead and toss it in here. And some salt and pepper. We're gonna start off high like this because I actually wanted to have a little char on it. Salt and pepper. I'm gonna sear this broccoli up now. There it is. After a couple minutes, go ahead and start turning your broccoli over. You'll see some browning on the one side that you had it on, and that's all I want. Just a little color on it. Do the same thing to this side. Beautiful. A little bit more salt. That's her. and lower down that fire. With that little bit of water that we added, I'm going to finish cooking that broccoli. Dinner's going to be ready any minute now. All right, folks, it's the moment of truth. Everything should be ready now. Let's check and see. Broccoli, definitely. We're going to go ahead and turn everything off, and we're going to put this plate together, okay? Let's see. Turn that fan off so we can hear. All right. So, the rice. Look at that. Fluffy, right? That's what we want. Yes, it's in a non-stick pan. It's not a caldero, but it works. Probably more like Oriental rice than Puerto Rican rice, but don't worry, because once we put the topping on it, it's gonna be all good. So there's that. Boom. Got the rice. We need to get our pork chop. Oh boy. Let's get our pork chop on top here. Beautiful. I want some of this potato. I'm gonna add some of these goodies in here. Get the spoon. Oh, I definitely want to have my olives. So put some juices with the olives and some potato. Oh, for sure. That's what the guiso is all about, those juices. And you mix that up with your rice, and it's a whole wonderful world. It's a party in your mouth. Get those onions and those leeks on there. Okay, so there's that. But you can't just have starch and meat, folks. It's very important to try to get some vegetable, even a little bit. It's better than none, okay? So we're gonna add this broccoli so that we have a little bit of vegetable. Some broccoli here. Bingo, bango. That's what I'm talking about, folks. This now is a beautiful meal, and it's time to eat. All right, remember it was a meal for two. You saw I only put half of everything, right? Look at that plate. Is that not beautiful? Oh my gosh. All right, it's time to dig in and see what this tastes like, because the smell alone is more than I can handle. Now make sure that you get the best drink that you can have with this kind of meal, and for me, it's gonna be a rum and coke. Oh yeah. So listen, for all you Puerto Ricans out there, I know I didn't use adobo, and I know I didn't use sazon, and it's okay. There's too much in there that you don't need in your life, so you can use it if you have to, or if you really, really like it. But I prefer more natural ingredients, and that's why I chose not. And yes, sofrito would have been really nice too. But again, I'm doing a quick meal. Not everybody out there has sofrito, so before you go dogging what I didn't do, just try it, see what you think. All right, I'm ready. Let's go. The pork chop, beautiful. It's falling apart. I can't even really cut it. Probably should have sharpened my knife first. Okay, that's a good thing. I'll take it. A little bit of rice, a little bit of chop. Take that first bite. Oh, look at that steam though. Hold on. Look, the tomato sauce, even the leeks do something to this. I put quite a bit of leeks in here. And they do have their own flavor, somewhat like onion, but a little bit different. Nice little tang from the olive. The pork chop is just nice and tender. And then the rice is the starch, so you need to bring it all together. Man, I hope you guys are out there trying it. Please leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought. What did you do different based on what was in your refrigerator, or what seasonings you had available? I'm interested. So leave me a message, leave me a comment, share it with all your friends. But again, for $1, this plate cost me $1. That's ridiculous. So even in hard times, you can eat good. It may not be the healthiest thing here, but I did get some vegetables on my plate, right? Yeah. The broccoli have a nice, still have a little crunch to it. I don't like soggy broccoli. Nice salt and pepper flavor. That's all they actually needed. This is a great meal. So I hope you like what you've seen. Please like my page, like my channel. Go visit us on Instagram. Visit us on Facebook, Cisco's Smokehouse. Hope to see you again. Subscribe. Tell me what you want me to do a video on next, and I will work on it for you. Thanks a lot.